Hey, everybody. Hey. Hey.
There he is. Hey.
So we're talking about BTK. And
Everything to do with Burger King or something?
Not quite.
the dude really, he led the most incredible double life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the most incredible. He was a deacon, right?
Yeah.
Head of his church.
He was actually the president of his church.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can you imagine what those people felt?
Oh, yeah. The ones that went to
my
church with him all the years is like, okay, we had dinner with this dude. Okay, we had picnics with this dude and his family. You know,
well, he sounds like a good Christian. So I guess.
Sunday though.
Really put on the. He could really turn it off and turn it on. I mean, psychics always say, I can't turn it on and turn it off. I can't control it.
Yeah.
But he could control his mania and his psychosis.
Well, he brought up.
Could have stopped
He made up a term for it. You know, you're going to find out as we talk. This guy was like narcissistic 101, but the thing is he came up with a term called cubing, where he compartmentalized, his killing and all that, and the planning of it, and having a family life, or being a deacon, or heading up his church. It's amazing how this guy's mind worked. Yes, he was a killer, but yeah, to be able to do that psychologically.
Did you notice, or have you, Blaine, anybody, have you seen in his history where he was trained to do a task that was laser focused like that?
He was in the Air Force, but.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Okay. So he had a psychosis, and then he learned compartmentalizing.
I think he had like a menial job in the Air Force anyway. Was it nothing real technical or?
Yeah.
I don't know if he passed out basketballs at the gym or not, but
I love it when you say that.
That was actually a job though. Services, you could work food services, you could work mortuary services, or you can work just where you work in the gym and pass out towels and basketballs. That is an actual career field in the Air Force.
Hashtag passing out basketballs.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one.
Towel boy.
Yeah. Hashtag towel boy.
Hashtag towel boy.
There you go.
We'll call him hashtag towely.
So he used a plastic bag and a ligature That
Yeah,
was his MO.
yeah. He
Yep.
loved strangling. He got awful strangling people, watching them suffocate. And one funny thing too, he was also a compliance officer. So he had a freaking badge.
Yeah.
I'm like, uh, uh,
Oh my
It
God,
was-
that's scary.
The
yeah,
guy's
it's
ego
like,
was so big. And as you're
oh,
talking about,
huge.
compartmentalizing and
Yeah.
all that, this guy had everything. He organized so much stuff.
Oh
When
yeah,
when he was doing his killings, he would actually give them like mission names, just
Yep.
of how the women appeared and what he noticed most about them. And he
Yeah.
would create a mission and
Yeah.
have it all planned out. So,
And he would have stacks and stuff of everything he did to these people, from the stalking of the people to the planning of everything, down to the fact where he captured them and then tortured and killed them.
Yeah.
And he had all that written down. He had pictures of it. And plus, this is the weird thing I thought that he did these same things to himself. He tortured and binded his own self. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell kind of Fruit Loop crazy Looney Tune bastards is,
well, it's very sexual for him.
He is a Fruit Loop. He is a Fruit Loop for real.
Yeah. It was very sexual for him to the point where he would dress up in women's clothes.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
he
I
would,
knew that.
trying to fixate himself while he was, he was getting off and that's crazy. But this is what he would do to his victims before he killed them,
Yeah.
and that brought pleasure to him. That's the psychosis of it. His upbringing, everybody says it seems to be normal, but it was a very strict upbringing. And we know what happens. I've told you before, you could underparent and overparent. Sometimes with the strictness is an overparenting where things could turn, psychologically too. And I think in this case that did happen. There was signs of him with animal cruelty, those things we think about in the triad, the McDonald triad that we talk about with the pets, setting fires, wetting the bed into your older age and all that, or younger age, that more than you shouldn't be doing after a while. But yeah, his upbringing, he was very just quiet, reserved, and all that, because probably the strict upbringing, you just feel like you can't talk. You're afraid, that fear. So when you have that as you grow up, and that's what happened to you in a strict upbringing, you tend to have that psychosis of wanting to be in control of everything because you never had that control growing up. You said, well, I'm an adult now, I'm going to control. And because you never had that in your learning process, some people tend to go that way of being narcissistic and all that. I'm in control, I'm going to do this, and I don't care. And you could build that antisocial behavior and all. So that's what I'm thinking from this one.
There is a term that I've never heard that popped up when I was doing my research with this. It's called zoo sadism.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's where you torture and strangle and hang or whatever small animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where it started for him. So.
Oh Lord,
And then he would do it to himself.
I'm back
and
to
then
Blaine.
Yeah.
Dude, a Fruit Loop. Fruit Loop. Those sexual fetishism would be voyeurism,
Yeah.
autoerotic,
Asphyxiation.
right? He was cross-dressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yes.
he was trying to become his victims to relive it. From what he said, that he told the police in letters that, that he looks at all these pictures and he relives it in his mind. He says that's why more people weren't dead, because I was able to cool off for longer periods of time, because he would relive his kills on himself. So when he was captured, they pulled pictures of him all in his backyard, all tied up in women's clothes and all that stuff. So
Yes.
I have
Some of the pictures is like, whoa. Go ahead, Lee.
I got a question. I just don't
She
understand.
dropped your phone.
I didn't drop the phone and the whole thing. Y'all, how
In his backyard? What?
well, it said that he would play with himself
Yeah.
while
Yes.
he bound himself up.
Yes.
He had it around his arms and said, how do you got your hands tied?
I don't know.
That's a good sexual fetish there. If you can do it tied with your hands up,
Yeah.
you a master masturbator in that shit. Good
Yeah.
God.
He's
That's what
the
I'm
Houdini.
saying.
He's the
Houdini
Houdini of
masturbator.
masturbating.
Yeah, he is.
The masturbating Houdini.
The masturbating Houdini. The ultimate masturbator. Like,
I'm looking up this thing. I'm looking at it, and it clearly says that he would tie himself up dressed
Yeah.
like his victims.
Yep.
And he have his arms and his neck and everything tied up. And then
Yeah.
how did
I don't know. I do not know. Mm-mm.
He's put a plastic bag over his head.
Yeah.
Anything he's done to a victim, he's done to himself.
Yeah.
But of course, he has control, so he could pull it off anytime.
Exactly.
Where he was just completing his sexual fantasy to the victims, like directly. So
Yeah,
he
he
just
said-
brought himself to a point. So
Yeah.
but,
What he
Yeah.
said at one time was the reason he quit killing because he wanted to raise his children.
Yeah.
Well, serial killer said, okay, I'm gonna quit killing now. I'm gonna just make sure my daughter and my son get raised up right.
yeah, I know, it's just nuts. But yeah, I think his daughter's an advocate. His daughter's an advocate now for victims and all that. So
Yes, she is big time.
yeah.
I was just wondering who was the serial killer that raised his child to be aware and be able to defend herself against people like him? Who was that?
That was damn it.
My brain died. I can't remember.
No, that was the happy face killer.
Happy face killer. Yeah.
That's it. Happy
What?
Face.
That's the one we talked
Yeah,
about
so he's-
a
Yeah.
little while ago. Yeah. Yep. They had that TV show on recently, the series. So,
Yeah.
So he, as a compliance officer, he was known for being overzealous, extremely strict, taking
Mhm.
pleasure in bullying and harassing single women.
Yeah.
And in the 80s, he stalks several women. Well, he had a restraining order against him.
Yeah.
And they ended up changing their address to avoid him.
Yeah.
Said that Rader killed her dog. He became a member of the Christ Lutheran Church in Wichita, where he was the president of the church council. He was a Cub Scout leader.
Oh,
yeah.
He was a Cub Scout leader.
yeah.
These little
Unbelievable.
boys. There's a lot of stuff he did that's I bet we'll never know
Yeah.
the
Oh
whole
God, no, we won't.
So
thing.
if you don't mind, could I tell the most crazy thing that ever happened?
Please tell me.
I did a thing on this a while back before we started doing the show on TikTok. Yeah, I used to do little snippets of the serial killers and all. But if you go back, when he was killing the most people, when there was the most stuff going on in Wichita, he was actually worked for an alarm company, and he would put alarms in people's homes. So of course, at the time,
I thought that was
all
him.
the killing going on, everybody wanted to have that alarm and be protected. So this dumbass is going into their homes, putting alarms in, and he's the one killing everybody. So
yeah, that's kind of smart.
isn't
There
that
you go.
crazy? So
It's
it's like you probably have the alarm
smart,
code. You could just go in and shut it off as a tech. So,
Yeah,
you know?
no doubt. And all of them have a master code. He's just a master code. Bam, there he's in.
So, and I'm like, I'm dumbfounded. And I think one of the victims was somebody you put an alarm in for, if I'm not mistaken.
That would be the lady that lived up, the older lady that lived up the street from him.
That's
that he
right.
walked by with his daughter. Yeah, he put the alarm in that house.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. I knew there was one. So, yeah.
Can you imagine walking by with your daughter and go, "Well, hi, Mrs. Johnson, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And come back later, Miss Johnson's dead because Daddy went and killed her.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts, dude. It's like, you imagine waving to your neighbor, "Hey, Miss Johnson, how you doing?" The hour later, you're going to kill the woman. Like, what the hell?
So,
Makes me so sick, y'all.
But I've watched a lot of his talks that, they had him and they're interviewing him and all that. And for the life of me, I close my eyes. You guys got to realize I live up in the New England area. I'm a huge Patriots fan. And, if you guys ever heard Bill Belichick talk, that monotone, nonchalant, like, when he talks to the press.
Yeah.
BTK sounds exactly like him. As if I
Dude.
close my eyes, I think it's
Yeah.
Bill Belichick.
Really?
And
That's
Oh,
insane.
Dennis
Yeah,
Rader
if
does.
anybody
You're right.
watching right now, watch an interview with Bill Belichick with the media, and then watch an interview with BTK, and you'll laugh your ass off.
He kind of sounds like that guy, Mueller.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
So, in
That's how sick he was.
2024,
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
sick was the word for it. And he
in
Yeah.
talked-
2024, his daughter, Carrie, he raised her.
Mhm.
And so she went to a 2024 crime con in Nashville, Tennessee, and she had his diary.
Oh, Lord.
And she read it and revealed that she had been sexually abused by him as a child.
Yep.
I thought maybe, he was super, about everything because, that's the way he was raised and he
Yep.
knew he was sick and there's sick people out there. I thought maybe he would spare her, but he didn't.
Yeah, but I think, it never came out, but I think with the strict family and all that, I think he was sexually abused, but he never admitted to it. And I think sometimes we talk about this generational stuff where it goes from generation to generation where you have to finally cut the cord. But yeah, I think there's some stuff in the past with him that never came out in his interviews. I think he was too much of a narcissist and egotistical for him to admit to that.
Oh yeah,
So I think
definitely.
that's what it is. It would show that he didn't have control anymore. So, and that was his big thing. Even in court, if you look at him when they question him, the facial movements and all that, knowing that, trying to hide that uncomfort because he's talking about his fantasies. And to reveal his fantasies, I think in court to him felt like he didn't have control over them anymore.
Yeah.
And you could see he was uncomfortable, but he never stopped his same monotone as he talked about these things.
No, he didn't. And it's just like
Yep.
matter of fact to him. And there's a good series on called The Killer Speaks.
Yeah.
And it has all or it has all his pre-recorded stuff that he was like stuff that he had in court, interviews with cops and stuff like that. And listening to him, he thought in his own mind that he was smarter than everybody else, that they'd never catch him. And we'll say later what they called him, and I think it's hilarious how they called his dumbass. But
Yeah. Oh, that's the best. But
that is a classic, dude. But we'll
that's a
bring that up
classic.
later.
Like, yeah, you're trusting the people that are trying to catch you, kind of thing. So yeah,
Just like,
that's
why are you gonna get mad because they caught you?
Oh my god.
Did you get mad? Did that make you mad?
Oh, it made him so mad.
Are you mad?
Yo, it almost brought him to tears when they told him how they caught him.
Yeah.
And he was like, but I trusted you guys. Like, Chucky, you're a serial killer. No, I'm gonna do every means I can to catch your little dumbass. Well, you don't kill nobody else.
Yeah, but he was killing for a while, and then there was the big pause where he supposedly was
13
raising
years.
his kids.
Was it 13?
Do you know what brought him back out? There was a
What?
guy that made a decision to write a book about him.
Oh,
And
did
he was so desperate, because he always wanted to be in the public eye, that ego, the infamy and all that. And, so he started writing letters to the cops again. And because of that guy writing that book and bringing him back out is where his demise started happening. And, we get to that point. But, yeah, tell them how they got caught, Blaine. Tell them the whole thing about that.
This is funny.
Pretty wild.
Okay. He had been sending correspondence back to newspapers, this one television station called KATE or KAKE. And he was sending stuff to them. And this is like, I have to go old school on you guys because a lot of you don't even know what I'm going to talk about. They had these things called floppy disk. That he was putting all this shit on floppy disk. Well, he didn't realize, even with a floppy disk, there is a letter stamp and a timestamp on everything you run out of a computer. And if you're using a floppy disk, it marks it. It puts what the name of the place is, what the address is,
Lord
what
have
computer
mercy.
number it is. And then he was getting smart with the cops and sending him letters. Says, well, there's no way you guys can catch me. And he was like, so he kept sending. And the last time they finally got that good hit on what computer he was on, where it was at his church of all places.
Yeah.
And
No,
they
it's church. He was at his church.
he did the shit at his church. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I can't, y'all. This guy.
it gets better.
He didn't think he'd ever get
No,
Texas.
and this
Oh,
is
he
the
thought
funny
he
part.
was something else,
Oh,
man.
this
He
is
was
the
too
funny
smart.
part to me. Is like, okay, they figured out exactly what computer is. So he is driving to work one day. They pull him over and arrest him. He goes, "Can you at least go tell my wife I'm going to jail? Because you know where I live." I'm like, and then when they
Just got
got him,
tired. Let's just.
Oh.
He got bored. He was like, "Okay, I really am through." I thought
and then when he
had
gets to the
invented
police,
all these ways to do
Yeah.
stuff, and he was just like, "Psst, "I don't care.
and then when he
Just
got
whatever."
into the interrogation room, the first thing out of his mouth was, "You lied to me. You told me you couldn't trace this floppy disk." He said, and he literally almost started crying.
Yeah.
And the cop was like, "Dude,
Baby.
you're a serial killer. I'm gonna do everything I can to get your ass. And you made the biggest mistake of any dumbass criminal I've ever seen in my life. You put shit. You might as well just put your picture in the paper and just turn yourself in."
Yeah.
That
Oh my
kiss
God.
was for Stacia. Just let
Yeah.
me say, it wasn't for BTK. Just wanted to make sure.
He's such a big girl.
No. It was for you,
But you know,
Stacia.
this is how this is how he started his killing spree. He had mapped out a mother and her daughter named the Oteros,
Yeah.
and Daddy was home, Mom was home. One of the sons was there, and one of the daughters. Other kids were already older; they were in school or somewhere else. And Dennis just walks in their backyard with their dog, pets the dog, knocks on the door, walks his way in, kills the father first, then the mother, then the son. Then he takes the 9-year-old girl down in the basement and hangs her in the basement while he's masturbating, while she's dying.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
Everything
He wasn't
about him
expecting. That's where his planning started evolving.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't expecting the father to be there and the son. He was only expecting the women to be there.
Yep.
After that, I think that's the only like males that he killed.
That was the only
because-
male he killed.
Yeah. So.
And because it was just a happenstance because the dad was there. And then 3 days later he killed his 5th victim?
Yeah.
Within 4 days he had killed 5 people.
Yeah.
Jeez.
crazy.
They think his body count was around, I think it was convicted of 13 because he got 13 life sentences, but they think he might have had 20 to 30 more victims that they don't know about yet.
Yeah. Well, there's some of them, he planned it all out, and, that's when, you can't plan everything perfectly.
No.
And he tried to plan one. He was hiding in his woman's closet, waiting for her to come home because she always comes home at that time. She decided to do something out with friends that night, and he got tired of waiting and left.
Oh, shit.
But she actually survived because of the decision she made to get out of routine. So that's something I want to tell people. If there's something going on in your area where they're saying, "Oh, so-and-so, this is happening, that's happening," change up your routine.
Yes.
Don't do the same thing all the time. That'll keep you protected too.
Well, that'll
You
keep
know?
me safe because I go by the seat of my pants all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
But, yeah.
when I say that she does, I mean,
She does.
The
But-
car, and it's like, where are we going? I don't know. The car knows, and we're just going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Thelma, Louise.
pretty
No, I'm serious though. Those of you that feel like something is following you or that you're being
Yep.
Targeted,
Yeah.
please
Don't drive
remember,
straight home. Don't drive straight home.
And I will
Don't
tell
let them
you
know where
this.
you are. Yeah.
Back in the 80s, I was taking a girl home. Yeah, I know, Christina. What is a routine? That's right.
I used to have them.
Yeah, well, but I was taking a young lady home from work. I was working at a restaurant managing the dining room, and she was a waitress. Absolutely precious young lady, and I was taking her home, and I think we happened upon maybe a drug deal or something like that. We saw people at the, you know, putting things in their pockets, leaning over in dark cars with the dark windows. Wasn't the best neighborhood, and they saw us. She got out and she said, she started to get out, and they started saying something to her, and I snatched her back in. She slammed the door, and off we went, and they're following us. And I drove straight to the police station, pulled up in the parking lot, and then they figured out, oh God, we're in the parking lot of the police department, and they left. So that's a good thing. If you feel like you're being followed, you can use your phone and call and say, hey, I'm on my way to the police station. There's a moron following me. And another thing you can do, and see, I had to learn all of this because, you know, what happened to me, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But you can also, if you go out of your house and someone is following you, like you're running away from them, instead of trying to run one way or the other and trying to outrun them, go around behind you. Like if I'm going out my front door, I'm going to go around and I'm going to go back behind the house. They're going to come out and be looking like, where is she? Completely distracted. Meanwhile, I'm in a whole nother, I got a different zip code now, you know? So I thought I would sorry, but I just had to say it because maybe somebody listening needs to know that. Please, also, if you're concerned about, if you're going to a big city or you feel like there's a situation that may be happening, do not wear overalls because that gives them the ability to control you. And don't wear your hair in a ponytail because once your hair's in a ponytail, now you are controllable. That's about all I got.
Use your gut instinct, you know, we all have it. We're all born with it, trust it, especially when you're in an unfamiliar area. Because this BTK guy, he planned this stuff out.
Oh, yeah.
People know this stuff was going on, but yet I feel like there's always that person that does, hey, it won't happen to me. It won't happen to me. You just have to be aware. You know, I don't expect you to be walking around one day thinking serial killers are all coming at you at all times. But you have to be aware of your surroundings, especially like going into a parking lot and cars parked near you and you're going to get into a car. Just check your area, you know, before you snap open the unlock button. So,
by the way, everyone, we are giving away tickets to the Deep South Paracomic-Con. We will be giving away one tonight. Please send a direct message to Gwen, and we will get it to you. Did you get the other two out to those people?
I've got them together, but I've been kind of busy.
We've been real busy. My fault. My fault.
Yeah,
if you're wondering, it's my fault.
Well, actually, we had crappy service going there, so that's what I was.
Did you get the two to our ladies from the event Saturday?
That's what I got to do. Yes.
Okay, please get it to them.
They know. And by the way, I have also started a group in Western North Carolina. There's a lot of interest there, but nobody has taken the leadership role. The people that were doing it has moved to Virginia. So I'm sending out invitations. Anybody that's interested in investigating in Western North Carolina, which is like Asheville, Hendersonville, things like that, Brevard, Fletcher. There's a lot of indigenous places there, and this is also where the fires were, the forest fires, and the flooding, and a lot of really bad things that have, natural disasters have happened. So there's a lot of people that are very interested now. It's exactly like during the Victorian era, and I'm going to just go down a quick rabbit hole. Everybody was talking about how much we're going to rabbit hole this right now. People that were losing their loved ones due to good God, how much they didn't even name their children until the child has got quite a lot of age, like not a toddler, but by almost a year old, because they didn't know if it was going to live. That's how bad it got. And most kids didn't live past 5. Consumption and just so many different diseases. And because everybody was mourning, don't forget the wars, right? What was that? It was consumption. It was
TB.
Yellow fever.
tuberculosis, yellow fever.
Oh yeah. Oh, and then
So-
the one of the flus, Spanish flu. No.
Yeah,
What
Spanish
else?
flu.
I had a lot of my family died from the Spanish flu.
Wow.
So look at us. We've had, don't forget COVID, and don't forget, oops, excuse me, that was my phone. Sorry, Linda.
You jumping the phone.
I did, I dropped it.
Is that the
It was-
second time you dropped that thing?
I know, I'm not happy with the.
Oh, we will have to tell you about our.
Yeah, it went down the crack, but
Yeah.
down in the seat. Crack.
Did you say
Well,
butt crack
we
or
were having
voodoo
our-
doll butt crack?
Yes,
Her.
we are having our own enlightenment, spiritual enlightenment because of
Mhm.
all of the problems we've had.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, all the different natural disasters, people that have died in the Hurricane Helene, the horrible fires. There's just been one thing after another.
Yeah.
So I believe that diphtheria. Thank you, Chad. Thank you,
There
Chad.
you go.
You.
Yeah.
It wasn't coming to me.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so Gwen and I talked about this when I was writing.
You know what I always thought diphtheria was, growing up, is like when you eat too many nachos and dip, and then you have diarrhea at the same time.
Yeah. Diphtheria.
No,
Oh
we
my
didn't.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Tom,
You're horrible.
I know. I
I
had to put
messed
some.
her up.
I had to add some levity. You got to add some
That's
levity
fun.
sometimes.
I
We're talking
like
about
that.
serial killers and people dying from diphtheria and yellow fever and all that.
And
So,
diarrhea.
Yeah,
Diarrhea.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's people that die
Yes.
from that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
well, you
That'd be a-
dehydrate. You'll dehydrate you. That means you're dehydrated. So,
That would be a shitty way to go. I'm telling you.
pretty much, yeah. You got that right.
Y'all so bad.
Thank you, Chad.
Yes, it did.
It killed a lot of people. So, mourning was almost not a fad, but like a social aspect. I have a Victorian tear catcher, and it's a long
Oh yeah.
glass
Yep.
bottle, and you would, collect your tears,
Mhm.
and you could either put them in the ground, where everybody buried, or you could keep them, and once the tears were, absorbed, not absorbed, what do you call it?
Evaporated.
Evaporated, there it is. Then you stopped mourning. But gosh.
Wow, that's
so
those types of objects have to have some energy on them.
Yeah, mine does.
Morning
it
type of energy. What did she put?
He makes himself laugh.
Yeah, I do.
He makes everybody laugh.
Oh, my
Somebody's got to
goodness.
do it.
Exactly.
I'm suffering from a bad headache. It's kind of like leftovers. There are people that die from taking aspirin too every day. That's true. I mean,
Hey, Richard, Chad, I'm deadly allergic. If I take aspirin, I'm dead. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't take aspirin.
you can't take aspirin, and you can't any citrus.
Yeah.
Any citrus or bee stings will kill me. Anaphylactic shock. 45 minutes, get the
Yeah.
EpiPen or dead.
You got your EpiPen with you?
I always have an EpiPen. I keep my 4 or
I
5
keep
with me.
one with me all the time, so you're
What was
good.
that killer? Wasn't there that killer that was poisoning bottles of Tylenol?
Oh yeah,
Years
Tylenol,
ago.
'cause they still never
Yeah.
found that dude.
Actually, I saw a thing about that. There was
Yeah.
a lady that was trying to kill her husband, and
Yeah.
she poisoned the aspirin or Tylenol, whatever it was. And in order to prevent it from looking like she had done it, she was the one that put those tainted bottles of aspirin out herself on the shelves.
Really? Yeah.
And,
Wow.
and that way it was sort of it's not me, it's misdirection type thing.
Yeah.
And
Well, the video that the police have was of a
That's-
gentleman, not a female, that was messing around those. And every time when somebody pick up a bottle, he'd be off to the side staring at them. But they never could get a good enough picture of him to see who he was. But they do have film of him messing with the bottles. So who knows? If it might have had an accomplice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She could have paid somebody to do it because she probably knows there's cameras and didn't want her to be part of it. Yeah, there's always those types of things of what people will do and
That
to
special I
avoid.
was watching, there was a lady that was putting antifreeze in her husband's tea.
I
Oh,
saw
my
that
God.
one.
Yeah, and then she put antifreeze. She married another guy. She had a thing for first responders, especially life insurance. So the first one she put,
She didn't get much.
yeah, antifreeze in the cop's
So-
tea and killed him in his
So I'm
little
wondering if you
thermostat.
put antifreeze in tea and all that, and it's cold out, would you get frostbite?
Yes,
Tom,
you get dead bite.
it's terrible. Oh my Lord. I think that oh, Chad's got some. Speaking of stuff that can kill you, I forgot to tell you guys, I got bit by a rattlesnake about 2 weeks ago. What the
Jesus.
hell? Chad.
It has been hell on him. We need to pray for him. He's been having some bad shit.
Chad
is
Yeah.
one of the podcasters. He goes way back in the supernatural. He does
Yeah.
very deep, scary cases. And he got bit by a rattlesnake. Did it,
Jesus.
Chad, did it? Rattlesnakes, especially if they're big, they can actually strike so hard they can break your arm.
Yep.
Or
Yeah,
leg.
but you know, it's
whatever.
crazy. It's crazy. I think about anything without arms and legs is the devil. So that's
Yeah.
all I got to say about that.
Yeah, Matt calls him Mr. No Shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to
No,
stay
it's
the
not
hell away
natural.
from me.
It's
Mr.
just
No
not
Shoulder.
natural.
Yeah, he was working on his mom's house.
Yeah.
And it was from the Civil War, so this thing was really needing help. And he was on his belly crawling under the house, and he happened upon a black racer. And if you ever
Wow.
pick up a black racer, it can bite you, pow, 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 before you can even put it down.
Oh,
I mean, it is just nasty. And that thing, and he was young. He was very
Sounds like
young.
the Mike Tyson of snakes.
yeah,
Yeah, very much so.
Yep.
Yep,
There
very
you go.
much. Black racers are mean. And
Damn.
that thing bit him so many times, and he never even got to see if it was poisonous or not. He didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being under the house? You can't get out from under there
Uh-uh.
fast
No,
enough.
because I would have
No.
a heart attack.
I would be
They-
fine.
Yeah.
I would be
And
fine
that-
because
but
it
that's
would
the
drown.
problem is
I would
people when they
pee and
get
it
bit
would
by
drown.
snakes, the panic sets in, and that fear,
Yep.
and your heart races, and that moves the poison through you quicker. They always
Yep.
say if you're bit by a snake, you gotta lower that area and not panic.
I
But
know
easier said than done. But
Well, you have to use a tourniquet, and you do have
Yeah.
to cut the area. If anybody's around me and you get bit, I'm going to cut you because
Yeah.
you keep that wound
Exactly.
closed up.
plus, you need to hopefully you have ice packs nearby, depending what's going on. If you're on a picnic, just make sure it slows the blood
I'd
flow
be
down.
having a panic attack.
Yes, you will.
I know it's like
I probably would not.
it's like Gwen. We're giving the old medic information out here with the lead and all that. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
So
who
what do you
were we
guys
talking
think?
about again? I think we forgot who we were talking about.
BTK.
Yeah, BTK.
Yeah, we're talking about BTK, and I was going to
Yeah.
ask you guys,
Yeah.
how do you think he picked his victims?
But I tell you exactly what I think he did. He picked out the weakest link he could find.
Yeah.
That was going to be the easiest kill for him because
The
Dennis
ones
Rader
that had that
was-
repetition routine that he could see and pick it out?
Yep, exactly. And I don't
Okay.
think he was that strong of a guy either. So he had to pick out somebody
Yeah.
weaker than himself.
Yeah.
If you look at him, he's not that big.
No, he's not a big man. And I thought that whole ligature thing was because he couldn't overpower him.
Yeah,
That
but
was-
I think a lot of it was that first one he tried, and it got him all messed up. I think the next few that he looked for were he would follow people, he would watch, make
Yep.
sure that there were women that lived alone, that there wasn't any other people in the house or anything like that. That of course probably made it easier for him. He had a sexual fantasies and he wanted to live it out, and that's what it was.
Do you think those kinds of sexual fantasies come from, or is it an inborn temperament, or do you think it's because somebody fiddled with him?
I really
be
think
one
he
of
was
those.
molested as a child.
He
I'm
was
gonna tell
fiddled
you.
with.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell
I'm
you a
trying
little
to say
story.
it in a, kind of way. But
No, you're saying it kind of right. I mean, something happened to him.
Yeah,
well,
but
I
it
think
goes
so
to
too,
show you,
because I mean,
sometimes you got to experience it in real life. I worked in the prison system for a long time, and one of the dorms that was at one of the prisons I worked at was called Charlie Dorm. That's where they kind of kept all the pedophiles and those types of people away from the rest of the population, because, you know, if the rest of the population gets a hold of them, you know what happens. But one of the guys that used to clean my office, you know, I talked to him and all that, and yeah, all great, you know, and but you know, it still disgusted me. But the thing was, is, you know, he was proper, you know, and he didn't have that accent like he was from that area. So that's the thing that always got me, and I could never really find out really what he did. But I moved back to Connecticut, and at the time, my fiance, we had to go to the hospital, get some surgery done, and I'm like waiting around, and there's a newspaper, you know, the Hartford Courant, and I look on the front page, and there's his picture. I'm like, this is the guy that cleaned my office in Florida. Come to find out, he was a probation officer in Connecticut and molested all these kids, and they sent him down there in the internet. There's a Commerce Act where they can move people because of the high profile to other states. He molested these kids, but now these kids are older now, and they're in court, and they're saying because they were molested, that's why they molested. So that's how they were trying to get out of the situation in court. So that whole case came back up again. So
Wow.
you know, what gets done to you, you know, without proper healing, without talking to somebody and working through it, you end up repeating it, or you end up totally avoiding it. You know, it could go either way. You have a 50-50 shot how that's going to affect you. And I'm just glad that a lot of us are a part of that type of society, that healing group that could help people with that type of stuff.
Yes.
You know, with Leitreanna and all that. And that's like a movement, and hopefully everybody will get involved with that too. That's why I have it on my moniker there. It's important because, especially what we talk about with the serial killers, what they go through, it's the same thing. You know, it's not all paranormal all the time, or, you know, we're talking about serial killers too. That mind, the way it works, it all intertwines, and it's important for shows like we're doing, our movement of Leitreanna, and just doing events and bringing this stuff to people to think differently, to protect themselves, especially from a guy like BTK. You know, just your head of deacon, head of the church. You never know. I know it's getting harder and harder nowadays to trust people, but there are red flags. There are things to look at. You know, you have the right to get to know people if you're going to bring them into your circle, if you're going to trust people. And I think that's important. And that's why we do shows like this, again, to help people avoid being a victim, and to honor the victims, and to have people learn, you know, what their kids might be going through, and how to hopefully, you know, navigate away from that. Again, being a good parent, none of us know what that is. We just support our kids. We just do what we got to do, and support them and love them. And that's all you can really do, but just be aware. All right, I'm off my soapbox now.
Okay.
That's okay. We all do.
No, we all have to
Yeah.
be diligent, vigilant, because I can't tell you how many times that my children have brought, you know, kids home, and they've out with this kind of stuff, and it's like, oh my God, you know.
But it's up to us to put our arm around some of these kids and say, hey, we're here for you. Whatever
Yes.
you're going through at home, just know you could call me at any time. That's all it takes. You don't have to go out of your way. It's just when
That's
a child knows that somebody's there for them, and that if something gets bad, they could call them, or you could bring them over just for a little, hey, I could get away for a little while. You know, that goes a long way as they go into adulthood. You know, that one person that gave a shit. So
That one act of
Right.
kindness.
yeah, that's all it is.
One
So,
act of kindness,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
it
how you
happens all
put
the
that.
time. There's people I've met over the years, and I've done a lot of library events and speaking events, and all of them, I've had them come up, and then years later, I've had people come up to me after hearing me the year before, wanted to come see me talk again because they wanted to tell me, it says, that night I came to see you guys talk, I was really thinking of ending my life.
Yeah, I've had that
You know,
several
you give
times.
them those words, and you help them make sense of something. with the spirit world, with anything, and they make that decision that I want to stay, and it's humbling. And just doing this show, it's humbling too, to help people that are watching this show so they could learn about, all the years of work that I've done. And I know Blaine, his psychology, you guys, everything we've done up to this point to help people learn and navigate, I guess what we call this life, this human life, with some spirituality attached to it, to avoid these things it's a humbling thing. And I'm very proud that our show does so well and people receive it. And, talking about people like BTK and those things and just the other ones we've talked about, it's important. And, and I just want people to heal from that. And as they watch these types of shows, you got to do these things, and it's important. And, we're giving love to people, and hopefully they receive that love and make aware of everything that's going on around them. But,
you guys want to hear something
Yeah.
cool that BTK did at the TV station?
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Oh my God.
They would give tours of the TV station, and the KAKE, the Cake TV station, was his favorite station. He was in there getting a tour, and 2 days later, he sent them an email that says, "I enjoyed being in your studio." I was like, "What the?"
Yeah.
At the front door. Are you
Yeah.
serious?
That's
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
And the poor lady anchor woman, she was like, "BTK was in here. BTK was in here."
Yeah.
She said, "I was 10 feet from him. I didn't know."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
What was the other
Amazing.
thing? He's in prison now, and you know how people get these fans, they want to like talk to him or correspond with him and things like that. If you want to correspond with him, he sends out this interview checklist. He says you have to go through this whole, like, all these questions to be able for him to determine if he wants to actually correspond with you. That's how much of an asshole this guy is.
God damn.
Narcissist.
Full of yourself much, jackass?
Yeah,
Shit.
exactly.
Thank you,
I get
Blaine.
that. I'd be
Yeah.
like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't deal
Dumbass.
with people like that. Well,
Hell,
No,
you
you
think
don't.
he was-
I
hell,
shut
he's freaking 80
I
years old.
I
You
would
think
pay
he
money
was
to watch
somebody.
her get a hold of him.
I shut him down quick.
She'd knock him out. Oh my
He's gonna
God.
break his ankles.
So we
Oh,
do want
Gwen,
to
I
say
would
something
make you cry.
positive.
Yeah.
I'd make you cry.
This Paranormal Magazine's Paranormal Buzz. Here it is.
Nice.
Yay!
Yes,
Yay.
girl.
As you see there, All Access Network Television is
Yes.
featured, and so I did my best to represent all of us.
Yeah.
And
you
so
did.
there's about Gwen and her being the producer and how we found each other. And then there's also a section about each one of our podcasts, I believe.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's in there.
I
I
can't
submitted
remember.
it. I don't know if she kept it. But anyway, so All Access Network got a big plug from Paranormal Buzz magazine.
Right.
And you can go to Paranormal Buzz on Facebook and check them out. Janet
Or all of
Ramsey,
us
is
posted it.
yes, we've sent it all over the place. Janet Ramsey is really trying to, right now it's an online magazine, but she's getting, she likes our approach, our mission of,
Good.
here,
She watches us a lot. So
she was
thank-
on just a
Right
few
on.
minutes ago.
Janet, if you're watching now, thank you, honey.
We
Okay.
really appreciate. So this is our mission. Every story, every voice, all access.
Yes.
We're wanting to remain transparent, sincere, humble, and get every story documented, every voice heard.
Yeah.
And even though we've got different people, different podcasters, hosts on, we are all united. I mean, we've got every ethnicity, every religion. I mean, we've got it pretty much covered. And
Yeah.
the point is, we still get along great.
Yep, because that's if you're gonna join, that's the first thing I say. We don't do
And we
crazy shit.
No, we don't. That's not going
Can't
to work.
stand the crazy shit.
And we do everything we can to support each other.
Yep.
And to support that mission of peace and We just a bunch of flower kids. We like
There
peace,
you
love.
go. Peace, love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Well, I forgot
try.
to do my moose ears.
Hello.
Here it is.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the unicorn moose.
Yeah.
That's the better one. It's the unicorn.
So if anybody
Imagine
wants,
that. Imagine a
if you
moose
wanna
with
go
like
to-
one horn in front, like a
Yeah.
unicorn moose.
did you hear about
Hashtag unicorn moose.
the horse that had a little like a horn
Nublet.
here, a nublet, and he was sent off for study, and they
Really?
said that they were able to trace like DNA. They believe they were able to make a link to unicorns, that they actually
Really?
did exist. Yeah, it was really cool. I didn't get to
Hmm.
finish reading it all, but I was like, whoa, that's so exciting
Yeah.
because I love that idea.
I think that it's transitioning into this plane again. So yeah, a lot of stuff
Maybe,
going on in the world.
maybe.
Yeah, a
Lots of
lot of
stuff.
stuff going on in the world. Gets us thinking and guessing, and yeah.
All right, so let's talk one more time about this right here. If you're interested in going to Thomas Gormley and Charles Rosenay's incredible Paracon, that's July the 12th and 13th. The tickets are $19.99. VIP is only $39. And if
Yep.
you are really excited about coming, you are welcome to get a ticket, and I'm going to find it. That is not it.
Paracon.org. PARACONN.org.
.org.
It's down there.
Boom. Okay, so we have Butch Patrick of the Munsters and the Godfather John Zappa's coming.
Yeah.
And so
So,
that's how you're able to get it. By the way, we have new numbers.
yeah.
That's
Cool.
right.
Yes, I sent it to you.
What do we got?
You remember? I was so
I've
excited.
been busy.
This is our new, why didn't it say? And did it say?
So our numbers are growing, guys.
Yeah, I
Thank
mean,
you, everybody.
thank you
Serious.
so much. Only you can do this for us.
Yeah.
All right,
Appreciate
where'd I
that.
flip it? Oh, there's the save button. And
Where's it at?
where'd it go?
Action.
Action.
Well,
I have the button pusher tonight. My computer's
her computer.
And hashtag like a Joe.
like a joke. Like a joke, Blaine. Like a
Come
joke.
on, Blaine. Getting some like a Joe going on here. Yeah.
Like a Joe. Yep.
Yeah, if I
There.
gotta sit and wait for there it is. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just on
Sweet.
one
That's
channel.
all hers.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
not all the others.
Wow.
7. Yeah.
that's just on one channel. You
Dang.
guys are making that happen.
Yeah.
You, the both of you right there, and all that work Gwen's doing, and all of our other podcasters, I'm
Yeah.
just blown away. And I was able to, it upped that channel so that we can host more. Facebook contacted us and said, you're growing. Here, let's give you some more room. And I was like, yes. So we are going to be looking for more people that would like to be sponsors. Thank you for those that already are. Now, last thing, because I know,
Can I say one thing before
Yeah.
you finish? If you would like a podcast with our network, now remind you, we support each other. We don't do drama. Let me know. Be serious. No craziness. Be serious.
yeah, it's really easy. Just be real and be transparent and do your
Give
thing.
me
We're
your
not going
idea.
to tell you how to do your thing, but we're
Nope.
not going to let you make a mess.
No.
No mess
Give
Can
me
I,
your
can I say
idea.
something to you guys? Can I say something
Yes,
to you
sir.
guys? We talked about it. There's a podcast in the making right now that I think
Oh,
is
no!
gonna
I wasn't going to say anything until it
Very-
was ready. So.
very, very incredible to the point where I think a lot of people that watch are going to be in tears. They're going to laugh and all that. And it does have something to do with that group Wardruna. And
It does.
it's going to be the experience of a lifetime. And I'm so excited. We're really working hard on it.
Yes.
You know, we have a lot of big names that are going to come on and reveal their stories of healing. So that's, and then as you watch, it's going to help you because that's the age we're going into. That's the direction that I think as us as healers or us in the paranormal, that's the direction it's going. And we want to make sure that All Access Network TV is the first to be able to do this type of show. And we're excited for it. And it's going to be amazing.
It's
I'm
coming
very
soon.
excited.
Yeah.
And,
And plus, he's chimed in already, but just so you guys know, hey, it might be me and Stacia Wills giving the play-by-play. But we're also going to have other people on, Leo will be on, Gwen, we'll probably have Blaine on just to talk about, has shamans and all that and how to heal and, help people work through this human life and the spiritual life and get in touch with their ancestors and the ancestral trauma that we can try and break the chains and just go forward in this age that we're in of healing. So, and
Well,
I'm very proud of that.
I'm very happy for all of that.
Well, I'll be
I
there because I'm reproducing it. So
Yeah, that's
Nice.
right.
Yeah.
And I've already talked with Gwen about this, but Blaine and I are going to be working on some psychic shows where
Yeah,
people that are
nice.
interested in speaking with a psychic, they'll be able to go on, and it's going to be linked up with a gentleman in Australia. So
Oh,
we're
perfect.
working on that. I don't have the exact I don't have the date yet because we have a fluid timeline. We're having to work on
Yeah.
that. There was some natural disasters that happened in Australia, and he's having to redo some of his, because
Yeah.
he's a brick and mortar radio station. And once
Nice.
it bounces from here to there, it'll go to Europe. So it'll
Yeah,
be fun.
you and Blaine
hoping-
together, though. You and Blaine together is always incredible, especially
Thank you.
when I talk to you guys, the work that you do with children with psychic abilities and all that. I know there was a show on before, but I think it's important that, kids develop properly and you guys bring that. That would make a great
That's a
series
passion for
too,
Blaine.
yeah.
I can't believe it's like you read my mind,
Mhm.
because I wanted to let everyone know that this book,
There it is.
This Psychic, the revision 2 is out. Matthew, myself, my mom, and Blaine wrote it, and then Gwen was able to add her story. And the idea is that it's written as interviewing people that were psychic as a child and
Yeah.
what those issues like. We'll be talking about that at the Deep South Para-Comic-Con.
Nice.
And
It's a great read.
it is a great read. It's
Mhm.
even better now. I recommend it highly. And if you're going to get that one, you should go ahead, just because they're meant to be together and get your psychic connection. Now, I'm
Well, buy
very
all your guys' books. Everybody's got to buy your books. So, yeah.
thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
very excited about them. I can't tell you how much.
Isn't there one of your books that I might have wrote the foreword to?
Yes,
Maybe.
and that's I'm looking for the doggone book cover right now.
Yeah.
I have a new, computer, so that means I don't know where anything. Bless you, baby. God dang.
Sorry, guys.
Let's
We'll
see.
forgive you.
I'm looking for there it is. Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got that
I'm gonna-
one. And
Well,
he wrote
while
one.
we're waiting, we're eating our hashtag Leg of Joe right now. So just
Yes,
making sure
yes.
we stay-
Hashtag Leg of Joe.
Mhm.
Okay, finally, I got it all. So I told you guys about this one that Blaine co-authored with
Yes.
the Family Spirit Group, and we added
Right.
Gwen.
My little story.
I'm telling you, they sold like hotcakes.
They
in
did.
Savannah. They did, and it really helped a lot of children. Preteens are where it's at,
Yeah.
not so much the elementary age.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I believe our publisher is working on one right now for kids.
Well, it is. You're right, because that preteen age is a lot of times where they're going through their change. And
Yep.
if you go back, as we learn, that a lot of poltergeist activity is because of that transition sometimes
Yeah,
with some
that's
younger
right.
ladies or
And
anything like
speaking
that.
of our publisher, happy birthday, Vicky.
Oh, happy birthday! I'll have to call her. Happy
Happy
birthday, Vicky. I haven't.
Okay, Vicky.
Yeah. So these are the Victorian tier holders,
Wow.
tier catchers,
Yeah.
and they're so beautiful. They go all the way back to Roman times.
Mhm.
Wow.
And I
Actually,
talked
before
about
we-
it.
I could feel that
told-
just looking at the picture.
Yeah, those were actually.
They actually go back to
huge.
Babylonian times.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Before,
they do.
before Roman, yes.
So that, as well as this doll, Marley,
Ooh,
and you
freaky.
can tell, you can see her personality in there.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
something.
She showed her
Yes.
butt
Oh.
this weekend.
She's like, I don't know, but she looks like she's looking around like, I don't know about you guys,
She
but
does.
I
She
just,
does turn her
I don't
head.
know about you guys, but I just farted and I'm waiting for you to smell it.
It's worse than that. She threw my crystal orbs all over the trailer.
Yep.
She
Yeah.
busted the sunlight out. She,
Yeah.
Wait.
you gotta go, Blaine?
You gotta go.
Yeah, I got to go. It's my hour's up. So I
We
love
love
you
you.
guys.
We
And,
love
All right,
you.
buddy.
We'll talk about somebody fun next week. Oh yeah, Jim Jones.
Yes, sir.
Good
See,
movie.
That's
Yep.
good with you
see you
guys.
next week, my love.
Yep.
So this is the book that Tom wrote the foreword for, and
Right.
it is a wonderful book. There's things like that's discussed. We talk about we talk about Houdini, Harry Price. We talk about a lot of people from the Society of Cyclical Research, and that started a movement that went around the world.
Yeah.
And I hope we're about to see something like that again. And I talk
Yeah.
about the methods that they use, the seance spirit circles, and how it worked, and what they did, and step by step methods of how they would do an investigation. And they were able to document those, and they would stay on a task, on an investigation for years. I'm talking like 4 years,
Mhm.
and how they were able to.
Can you leave that open?
No, it just opened.
Oh, I saw it open and I didn't notice it.
Uh-oh.
We got movement.
Somebody's
It's okay.
excited.
My kitchen is
I
very,
think one of the
very
spirits is excited about your book, so talking about
Probably
it.
Well,
so.
they're mentioned in some of them, so they
They
should
are.
be.
Yep.
So I want to say thank you so much for writing that forward. I really
Oh my
appreciate
God,
it.
it was such a pleasure to be able to relive when we first met and the topic
Brandon.
that, hey, what's up? What's up, gnome? So,
No.
and
No.
yeah, no.
Well, it
But
means the
just,
world to me that you were able to
yeah.
do that.
Thank you.
And
Or-
this book hasn't come out yet, but I'm very excited. Haunted Objects, Possessions That Refuse to
Right.
Die.
Yeah.
And I've talked about some of the objects I have, and I break them down. So
Just who
Yeah.
wrote the forward for that one?
Mr. John Zaffis wrote the forward
Wow,
on that one.
that's a big one.
And
Yeah.
he's very, very particular when it comes to people talking about haunted objects.
Yeah.
So for him to give me the thumbs up, that let me know that I'm tracking with him and trying to respect, the research that's been done over these many years.
So you know,
So,
all those
yes.
books that you have coming out, those are all going to be incredible. And again,
Thank
I'm
you.
so
And
glad
if
that I got to.
somebody gets
Yeah.
off her butt, it might be mine soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for her
There
to
you go.
write her.
My shit is full.
Yep.
Is it full
I
of
gotta write.
baby?
I gotta write my book.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, I'm gonna write my own book.
I
I
was
write
about to
forwards
ask
for-
that. So.
I wrote several forwards for people. I've been in books. My cases have been in books. I've been interviewed for them. I gotta write my own pretty soon. So, but,
Here's an example of one of the pictures.
oh yeah,
Okay, that is supposed to be, well, that's something that was passed off as a spirit, his father. Okay, and they would use cheesecloth
No.
to create
Yeah.
something like that. But people that were so desperate to hear from their deceased loved ones, that was how it went.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful,
It
Randy.
was.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't.
Brandon,
I
when
hate
you writing the
I hate
book?
it when, even today, as we try and navigate helping people, the spirits, the living, and all that. I just hate that some people still go back to that. The fake, the whole part of it to screw people out of money and all that. It just gives us a bad reputation,
And
us,
but some of
especially
it
on the
was-
show, all the people that we work with, especially with, Wardruna and all that. That's the real deal. That's the things that we need to do to help people. And your
Sorry,
books
we're
are
shifting.
very, very important. Where's she
Thank you,
going?
dear. She's going to go the next podcaster that's
Oh,
coming up.
I thought she was leaving to wrestle a bear.
I can't believe you said that. It's like, again, you're right on track. We have
Yep.
had bear sightings in our little town. There were 5 today, and they're in subdivisions and swimming across the lake. So we're all somewhat giddy and yet also startled and concerned because
Yeah.
And you know, it's because of the fire that was in Western North
Yeah.
Carolina, as
Well,
well as
they're moving
flood.
them. They're moving them away, and you know, animals do that when there's fire. They move that direction. But it's funny because the way I am and all that, I mentioned stuff, and people go, "Oh, that reminds me of something."
I
It's
know,
that
it's insane.
it's that thing I have. It's like I say stuff for some reason and all that. That's that type of shamanism I have. Sometimes I
I
don't know
know.
what I'm saying, but it means more to the person. I'm just like out of the blue say something and it means something to them. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the spirit guys just giving me that information to be able to let you
It's pretty
know
intense.
that I'm in tune with you and all that. And I'm in tune with everybody watching too. So yeah.
Well, I wanted to
Amazing.
ask you something. If you would be willing to do a voiceover for me for my book, Tales in the Dark.
Hell yeah.
These are campfire stories,
Oh
and
my
they're
God,
meant
I
to
love
be
it.
told and retold, and the person that tells it, you know, you're supposed to change it a little bit.
Mhm.
If you would do that, I would be so grateful, because
Yeah.
it sounds like a robot right now, and there's poems in there, and it's really for teenagers,
Yeah.
and there's kid-friendly recipes in there, and this is the season for it. So I would love to get that done.
I would
I'll
love to do, you know why? When I was in high school and you know, you get to that age where you're like, what am I gonna major in? So I love sports, of course, and I loved like radio. I was a musician and I was like, okay, should I go to school for communications and or anything like that? Should I go to school for, you know, something in sports? I went the sports route at first, you know, and then of course into psychology, things like that. But I look back on it now and I was like, Joe, I wish I went into radio or something. I love the voiceover thing. I've always thought about, hey, I wonder if I can make a living just doing voiceovers. And I'm just so
Well,
grateful you just asked me to do that. Because
Well,
it
it's kind of
means a
neat
dream
that you
for me.
picked on it. Yeah, that you were thinking of it, and I asked you to do that because
Yeah.
a friend of mine is doing voiceovers for a company, and he just did a voiceover. Took him 3 days, and he got a
Yeah.
$1,500 check. So I'll
I
send
know
you all
it's
the
crazy.
information. Yeah, it's
It's
really
crazy
great.
because, you know, I do have that ability because it's funny when I was in high school, I used to do the morning announcements and all that.
Did you really? Oh, how
Yeah.
cool!
I do my
That's a
radio
big
voice, you
deal.
know, and but I grew up with it. You know, my dad, he was an audiovisual coordinator, and you know, here in New England, he was the first person in New England to offer to videotape people's weddings, and
Oh,
that's how he
wow.
put us all through college, and it was amazing. But of course, we had to earn our keep. So I would, of course, be up in the balcony doing the scenes down on the wedding, and then I had to bring the microphone around so people could say what they wanted to the
Oh,
wedding
well, you're
couple.
perfect for this. You've got all
Yeah,
of that in your
yeah,
mind. and
I
and,
love it.
and experience. I'm sending him a message right now,
Yeah,
before I
'cause,
forget, and we'll get together and do the voiceover part, and then
yeah,
I'll send it over to the publisher so that we can get it on Audible. That's so cool. He's gonna do the
yeah.
voiceover for Tales in the Dark.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, because she's been telling me you've got to get somebody to do this. It sounds like
You know
crap.
who I want?
Who?
It's this guy who I can't
Oh
even say
God,
what it's gonna say. I know you
what did
lied.
you
It's
say? You
gonna,
want more? You want to try and get
Oh,
Morgan Freeman to help out too? You want to get Morgan
so
Freeman?
there's a guy on TikTok that's
Yeah.
really a good looking dude, and
Oh
he's got
boy.
this voice that
it's the voice.
it's the voice.
It's the voice.
Yeah, and it just
It
throws
my
him off,
nerves.
man.
Tears.
She says, well, people will post inside the thing and say, oh, you know, that voice just got me pregnant, you know, stuff like that.
Oh
I
boy.
was like, oh Lord.
Well, you guys got to know something. You know, I know I'm talking like freely right now, but if I go into like deep voice mode and all that, you know,
I can't do it.
yeah, I don't know. I might get a few people pregnant, I guess.
Oh Lord. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah,
Well, you
think I'm-
live. You gonna end?
The
yeah.
voiceover.
Gonna end the show?
Yeah, hold on.
Let's do a whole
I
song.
promised
Give
him
me a
I
box
Our producer's
tea.
trying to end the show because we're on like chat mode right now.
I
Geez,
know it, I
what did
know
we
it.
talk about tonight? Were we talking about BTK or something? I don't know. Everything went off the rails on this one, but
Okay,
Well,
he
that's what
said you too,
BTK
and I'll
was.
send it right
BTK went
over.
off the rails too, so I guess we might as well do the same thing.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, what
They
the hell?
did- Hey, Janet, she's here. Hey,
I
Janet.
told you she always
Janet.
pops in late.
Yes, Janet, thank you so
Yes.
much. We
Janet's
were
always
talking
late.
about you. I do want to show you one more thing, just one more thing.
Okay.
Thank you, Janet, for creating this
Yes.
and for all of the things that you've done for
Yeah, that's
our
great
show.
recognition.
Yep, and for this girl right here.
Yeah.
So I want to show you this.
Oh Lord.
Isn't she gorgeous?
Whoa.
Yes,
Look at that.
whoa. And so
Look at
finally,
that.
I
Look at them
know.
eyes.
Those eyes.
Thank you,
Look
Christina.
at
We'll
them
see you
eyes.
later.
Oh
Thank
my
you. It's
gosh.
all right, Janet. I'm glad you're
Janet's
here.
awesome.
I
Yep.
wanted to show you this. This is
Okay.
part of one of my haunted objects.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're in a barracks, okay, or this is the gym, and we are investigating 3 soldiers. And if you'll look behind the guys that are sitting in the chairs, you see legs.
Yeah.
You can count 3 sets.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you that, and I've got some questions about it, but as you can see, it's real.
Yeah.
It's very real. And these guys are in focus, and you know, someone just took that picture, and there it is. So I'll go into detail whenever we do the chat section next week. I'll have a
But
picture.
just so everybody remembers, Paracon,
Yes,
True Crime
please
Conference,
don't forget.
Get the commercial.
Oh, yep. Let me get to
July
the
12th and
commercial.
13th. But
Thank
also Saturday night, just so we know we're here, 2 of us are here. Saturday night, you get to ghost hunt with the Godfather himself, John Zaffis,
Thank
at
you.
the
I don't.
Elks Lodge in Waterbury, Connecticut. And with John, of course, the shaman and the showman, me being the shaman, Charles Rosenay, the showman, Leitreanna Brown, another shaman herself from Repossessed, and also Stacia Wills of Wardruna and all of us of Wardruna, the Wardruna Effect, the great history of John Zaffis from The Haunted Collector. And guess what? There's a meal before we do the investigation if you want to buy the tickets. It's Connecticut Paracon with 2 N's at gmail.com to be able to sign on for that night. It's only $125. You get to ghost hunt with John Zaffis, myself, Leitreanna Brown, Stacia Wills, and you get to have dinner with Butch Patrick.
I just love
Eddie
that guy.
Munster from
Oh
the
my
Munsters.
God.
You can't get any better than that. And we're going to ghost hunt in an Elks Lodge. There's so much history and energy that goes into that. It's a beautiful building. If you go on our website or anything like that, or you see our stuff on Facebook, you're going to see how cool we have the picture of the building within the advertisement, and it's pretty cool looking. There's a lot of different sections. It's very exclusive. There's only 30 spots available, and it's going to be amazing. And hopefully you guys could do that. CT Paracon at gmail.com to get your reservations. Join
There it
us.
is, right there.
Yeah,
All right,
there
we're
it
about
is.
to sign out. So please send a message over to Gwen and we'll select someone that will receive the free tickets to the Deep South Paracomic-Con.
Nice.
And we are signing out. Let me get to the right video so we can play it. And we're out of here. Next week, we'll be doing Jim Jones and his cult. Here we go. Have a great night.